Hi everybody, I'm 3 videos away from 1200, so I figured I'd knock them out right now and not even think about it. Alright, so going along with the Valentine's Day theme, I saw 2 movies last night. Well, a piece of one and some of the other. Okay, so I saw She's All That, which was made in 1999, which makes me feel old. But it is a teen romantic comedy. And okay, kind of think about Pretty Woman esque in high school, only with prom as the theme instead of what Pretty Woman was. And also Pretty in Pink with Molly Ringwald and, Anthony Michael Hall. And Michael Schofield, the really hot guy who is no longer an actor but does a house, either construction or he totally changed his life after he was an actor for 1 or 2 movies, and he just decided to not do acting anymore. But okay, so well, no, wait a minute. Trying to think. No, he was the actor in 16 Candles. Okay, Pretty in Pink was Andrew McCarthy and Anthony Michael Hall. Okay, so She's All That was Rachel Lee Cook and Freddie Prinze Jr. She played Lainey. He played Zach. Okay, Zach is a really popular guy in school, the quarterback on the football team, all that stuff. And she is very unpopular and an art student, but she's very gifted in art. But she's really quiet and she lost her mother, so it's left to her father to raise her and her younger brother. And he's supportive in everything, but because he's down to one parent, he has to work odd hours and he works he puts in spas in people's homes. So and Zach, I guess, comes from 2 wealthy-ish parents and doesn't know what he wants to do in his life, but thinks that he has to have all the answers, and somehow he's the cool kid because he can bond with everybody. But the other people in the school, because it's high school, so it's very cliquey, they think that you should stick with your own crowd. So when actually it starts off as a bet, Zach bets with his friends that he can take any a girl, and turn her into the prom queen in 6 weeks. And of course, the other guys pick who the girl's going to be. And it's Lainey because she's very standoffish, and she's a very a standoffish and like a tomboy, and so it's going to be very hard for him to do that. And then, of course, over the weeks, at first she's really rigid and everything else, but over the weeks they start to like each other and learn to love each other because um, he he gives her things that she can't do herself, and she asked him questions that no one else asked him before and stuff like that. Okay, so and then of course comes the trouble in the movie. So they get a lot of flack from their groups of why are you hanging out with him or her. And so they say, well, because we like each other. There's no reason why we're hanging out. Like, we just like each other. So of course, the hot girls, you know them in high school, right? So they try to mess with her, and she's wearing a really nice dress, and they mess up the dress, and just they make it really difficult for her, and they don't make it as difficult for him, but they still give him some crap. Um, then the end of the movie, of course, they end up together, but there's this guy, Dean, who thinks he's going to score with Lainey, although I don't know why. And so, at first they're kind of worried because, whatever. But it turns out that she has a little alarm in her purse that when she pushes it, it's like a siren going off, and you can hear it for miles. So it's kind of like your mace, but it's like an alarm. So, okay, that's that movie. And then, if you didn't know it already, Pretty in Pink was made in 1984, 1985, around that era. The John Hughes, the new Brat Pack era, with, like I said, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, your usuals. Ali Sheedy was in another movie called The Breakfast Club, but I'll talk about that one day, some point. Okay. And then, like I said, in this one it was Andrew McCarthy. The other one was Michael Schofield. That was 16 Candles, but this is Pretty in Pink. Okay, so they go into the prom. Oh, and John Cryer is in this one too. John Cryer of Two and a Half Men fame and now Extended Family fame. So, okay. But he plays the friend that has always liked her but never said anything. And she doesn't like him like that. And he finally gets up the nerve and she laughs in his face. So that doesn't go well. And she has the good looking boy that she likes, but she kind of puts in her head that she's not supposed to like him. So, but she talks to her dad and she says that, I really like this guy, and what about, all the what ifs? And he's like, okay, to the point. Do you like him? Yes. Do you think he likes you? Yeah. Do you like the same things? I mean, is he a good person? Is he nice to you? Those kind of things. Yeah. Okay, well then forget what everybody else says and just do it. So then she does it eventually, but 2 hours of will they, won't they kind of stuff. Because the premise of this movie is that he is in a wealthier class than she is. She comes from the poor side of town, or the wrong side of the tracks, whatever you want to say, and he comes from wealth. So then his friends are the stuck-up snobs who think that she shouldn't hang out with him because she isn't good enough for him. And then her friends treat him like, what do you want with her? Or get away from us. So, there's that thing. And then also, as a side note, the woman in the film that's her friend is Annie Potts. She was in Designing Women. She played Mary Jo Shadley in that one. In this one, she plays the record store owner, and she's a hopeless romantic too, but she falls in love with a guy of her own. And it's kind of funny because at the same time, you see both of these people falling in love for like the first time. Although the woman is probably like not, but you would think by the woman's age she would have fallen in love by now, but she just hasn't. And so it's kind of interesting. So while she's falling in love with the older guy, Terrence, then Molly Ringwald's falling in love with a teenage boy, but then the teenage boy kind of breaks her heart because he doesn't stand up for her. But it eventually works out. Um, Yeah, so they're both good movies if you want to know what teen life is like and with a little romance at the end. And of course, it was kind of like I would rate them as PG these days or even Z because there's no sexual content at all. No, nothing like that. Not even minimal foul language. So, yeah, very, very tame. But still worth the 2 hours. I just happened to catch the tail ends of them because I didn't know they were coming on until they were actually on. So, but I have watched both of them. Well, I watched She's All That like 3 times, and I watched Pretty in Pink more times than I'd like to admit. So, yeah, I'm familiar with them. All right, hope you enjoy.